Good afternoon. I am at my amyloid clinic, as you can see, and I do have some time left, so I decided to record the English vlog right away. I just finished recording the Dutch one, and today I am taking you along through my revelry library again. We already did 2 of those, and for the Dutch vlog I did 1 entire page. So that is 50 patterns. But, well, I got the idea from Naomi's Needles, like I told you, and she did 700 patterns in 1 recording. So let's see. Here we go. The piece is a colorwork sweater, and I did list it in my library, and I will probably never ever going to knit this. This is just too much color work to my taste, and I won't be making this. It is, by the way, a free Revelry download. So if this is your piece of cake, go knit it. Then we have One Step at a Time by Jo Thor. I have never knitted this pattern. It is a paid for pattern, a toe-up sock, and by a British designer. And apparently there was a time that I fancied this and bought it. But I've never knitted it. It is quite a nice pattern, so maybe I will knit it someday. Oh, and it was a mystery knit along. So I probably have downloaded it for the mystery knit along. I didn't knit it then, and after that it became a paid for pattern. That is the case, I think. Then we have Melisande by Pearlescent. It's a free Revelry download, and it's inspired by the mysterious character Melisande from A Song of Ice and Fire series. It is a Traveling Stitches pattern, I think. It's a beautiful pattern. So I might even knit this one day. But I do have many sock patterns. Then we have Carol's Plates. And this was a sock designed for an event in the Dutch sock knitters group. It's by a Dutch designer, Errie, and I have not knitted it, but it is a beautiful pattern, and it's based on the fisherman rib sweaters. Next up is Not Only for Men by Gudrun Neumann-Mack. And it's a pattern with cables and traveling stitches, and it's a free pattern. Sew up. And I can see myself knitting this one day. Then we have Herbstlaub. The funny thing is, when I recorded the Dutch vlog, this was the first time that I looked at this 50 entries in my library, because I think the surprise is best. But I have seen them earlier today, so and I will never knit this. There's just too much going on in this shawl. It's a paid for pattern, but yes, it's paid for. It has only 2 projects, so and maybe that's even by the test knitter, because the other project has 25 pictures. No, it's not my piece of cake anymore. Then we have The Lady of Lorient, is how you pronounce it, I think, by Adrienne Fong. And for those of you who are sock knitters, you've probably heard of Adrienne Fong, Belly Button Knits designs, and she was a very talented, lovely designer and a very, very fun person. But she passed away a couple of years ago. She has an amazing amount of patterns, and they are all free. And they are all very well written. Lots of lace, lots of beads, really fun. Most of the time, beautiful heel flaps, very, very nice. This is a top-down sock. Then we have The Doodler by Stephen West. I did knit this shawl and I gifted it because it was not, I liked it, but I didn't like it on me. That's the best way to say. So I gifted it or swapped it, I'm not even sure. Anyway, the current owner really liked it and it looked fabulous on her. So I remembered this as a fun knit to do, except for the very wide cable at the beginning. But that's just the beginning, so what could possibly go wrong? Then we have The Jeweled Cowl by Sachiko Uemura, and I have never made this. It's a free Ravelry download and it looks really nice. It's kind of an infinity cowl. You can wrap it around your neck twice. It has a lace mesh part and loads of beads, although the beads will probably be optional. Aragorn, a sock pattern by Janneke Maat, a Dutch designer. She is the one that wrote Sock Basis, that awesome sock pattern that I always use as my go-to sizing pattern. And it's a really nice pattern with traveling stitches. I have not knitted it yet, but I can see myself do so someday. Then we have The Antler Mitts by Tin Can Knits. Oh, we are going to ease into the Tin Can Knits section now. And that's kind of funny because I haven't knitted the antler mittens, but I did knit the antler hat for my neighbor. So, but that's not, this is not a pattern bundle or something. So apparently I bought this pattern and I bought, or maybe it's a free pattern, the antler hat to knit one for my neighbor. But I could knit her matching mittens. I could. The Seawall Socks, again by Tin Can Knits. A lovely pattern. I can totally see myself knitting this one day. It is a paid for pattern and it is top down. The Honeycomb Fingerless Mitts by Tin Can Knits has a cable detail. Looks easy and simple. They are pretty short, but you can always lengthen them, of course. And it's a paid for pattern. And her patterns, I said it before, are very well graded. So if you want to make a pair for yourself and a pair for your toddler, her patterns are excellent. in the sizing available. Then we have the Hipster, also by Think and Knits. I have not knitted this yet, but it's a very nice hat pattern. So, who knows? And it's a paid for pattern. I did buy many patterns, and but I have not knitted the most of them, I think. So I might have bought them with the intention to knit them, or maybe I bought them because I wanted to support the designer, or maybe they have been free for a limited amount of time and I downloaded them and later they became a paid for pattern. The Dogwood Slippers by Think and Knits. Very cute color work baby sock booty slipper. Really nice if you do want to practice your color work but you don't want to knit anything big. This would be nice. And it will probably be, yes, it's a paid for pattern and it's toe up. But they are really cute. Another Think and Knits pattern, the Lowlands. Also a paid for pattern. This is a nice pattern because you knit the brim first, and once you can fit it around your head, you are going to pick up stitches on one side of the brim and knit the top. I really like the look of this hat. I never wear hats, but I do like knitting them, and I might knit this one as well someday. The Bonbon, also by Think and Knits. A cabled beanie, and it is a paid for pattern, and it just looks like a nice hat. Downton Farewell by Phil Lagerman. A sock pattern with textured stitches, some traveling stitches maybe, and it is a pretty pattern. It is a paid for pattern and top down, but it does look nice, although the different pictures do look like, oh no, there's more to it than just some traveling stitches and texture. I think there are popcorn stitches or bobble stitches as well. There's a video tutorial, so if you want to knit them and you are confused in some way, you can watch the tutorial. Then we have the Shire Shawl, which is a pattern by Knit Joyce, a Canadian living in the Netherlands. And it looks like a nice pattern to use up some scraps. And but I have never knitted this. It is a free Ravelry download. So if you fancy a scrappy project, this would be a really nice one. The Lazy Hiker by Laura Dolbrads is a shawl in a shape that I do not fancy at the moment. Never say never. It's paid for. It's in my library. Who knows? Let's see. Rocks and Rivers is a pattern by Kate Knuff. A free Ravelry download. It's a sock pattern with traveling stitches and a little cable, and it's a section on the leg and it runs down the foot. Really nice. It is top down and free. Then we have the Gravity Shawl by Anja B. Lindner. And that looks like a nice versatile pattern. I did not make this yet, but I might. It's a free Ravelry download and you need as much as 2 skeins of ton sur ton or contrasting yarn. The Merryweather by Ray Gronmark. I had another pattern on the first vlog of my Ravelry library. The Hieraat is also a pattern by her, and this is a nice pattern with different stitches. You can add colors, and it's a paid for pattern, but at the moment she has a buy 2 get 1 for free, no coupon code needed. Oh, and this offer expires never. So if you are going to buy one of her patterns, be aware that you can have bargain. Then we have the Double Helix by Jenny Steinman, and I actually knitted this pattern, and it's a free Ravelry download, and it's a different construction because you start knitting the heel in a spiral shape, then you work your way out, and then you are going to knit the foot and the leg. I remember that this was a nice pair to knit. I enjoyed it. Then we have the Eternal Spring Socks. I do say then we have a lot, do I? I'm trying to avoid it, but while talking it just slips out every time. The Eternal Spring Socks by Very Busy Monkey is a lace patterned sock. You can either have the lace all the way to your toes or higher on the foot, and it's a top-down free pattern. Next up is a cardigan, the 9929 cardigan. Just a pretty basic cardigan. It is a free Ravelry download. That's probably why it ended up in my library. That's probably why I saved it, not so much as to knit one, but just because is also the name of the next pattern. Just Because Socks, Laura Jenkins. And to be honest, when I saw this one, I was kind of surprised that I have never knitted this, because I do like the pattern. I do like the detail on the heel, there are beads, there is lace. What's not to like? So I should remember this when I am looking for a sock pattern again. It's a paid for pattern, and it is top down. The next pattern in my library is the Frosty Apple Shawlette, a half pie lace shawl. And I have not knitted this, but when I look at the detail of the stitches, the lace and the popcorn stitch, I do like it. But there are so many things to knit. It is a free Ravelry download. So. Then we have the 4 Jahreszeiten by Sabine Rüsamer. I think these are several shawl patterns. But I have never knitted it and I don't recall why it's here. The May Apple by D. O'Keefe. I actually remember buying this because this was a buy one get one for free. So I have the May Apple, which I have never knitted, and looking at it, I don't know why I didn't, because I really do like it. And but I bought this pattern together with the Thurmond, and I did knit the Thurmond, and I remember this as an enjoyable knit but hard to block, and it wasn't too big. So, and because of the construction, because of the angle you're knitting in, it was not easy to block it really bigger. But I've knitted this for one of the granddaughters of my neighbor. I knitted her and her daughters-in-law and her granddaughters all a shawl or a scarf over the years. Then I have the pattern of the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. And I have used it once. It's by Sock Therapist. It's a paid for pattern, but it's not a pattern. It's more like a recipe, because you only get the heel and the information on how to measure and where to place the heel. I did use it once, but my absolute go-to easy heel is the German short row heel. So, yeah. Next we have Summer Ivy Socks by Angela Ho. Just a lovely lace patterned sock. It is no longer available. And Sleek It mitts, Sleek It, I don't know. But I do like these mitts. Haven't made them, do like them. Free Ravelry download. Then we have the Caramel by Isabel Kremer. And I think that she writes impeccable patterns, but this particular pattern is just not what I would want to wear, because you have these big front pieces that are just dangling down. Not for me, I think. The Professor Higgins by Kawa Coffee. This is a male pattern kind of sock. Lots and lots and lots of cables. A very pretty sock. It's a My Fair Lady character. She is always, she or he. This designer always has a link to music or a musical. And at the bottom it says, the feminine version of this pattern can be found here. And that refers to Lady Eliza, which I showed you earlier, I think. Not today, but on one of the other days. The Risasi or Risasi is a very nice shawl with big yarn overhauls, and I can totally see myself knitting this, which I haven't, and it is a paid for pattern, so I might have had the idea that I would knit this. The Finish Line Socks by Lisa Adcock. These Twisted Rib socks are based on the drag racing venue at Summit Motorsports Dragway in Norwalk, Ohio. Various features of the drag strip are included in the stitch pattern. It is a nice pattern. It is a paid for top-down pattern, which I apparently bought and didn't knit. Then we have the Bayerische socks by Uni Yang, but this is no longer available. So no need to discuss that. Next is Selma by Barocco Designs, and that is really a classy sweater. I don't think I will make this. I'm not sure if it would flatter me, but I do like the neckline and the detail in the front and in the back. It's really classy, really nice. Just 10 more to go. The Devil's Snare Socks by Erica Luder. This is a Harry Potter themed sock. She has an entire Harry Potter themed series. I didn't make this pattern, but I did at least 2 others. She is the designer behind Hermione's Everyday Sock, which is a very famous sock pattern. Free pattern, I think all her patterns are free, I'm not sure, and it's top down. The Devil's Snare. Same thing, only different. That is a shawl wrap that you can button close and you can wear it in several ways. It's very suitable to knit in lace yarn, and on the pattern page at the bottom there is a little drawing where she explains the idea. Free Ravelry download. I have not made this yet. Then we have P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, which is of course a reference to the Finding Nemo movie. It's a pattern by Heidi Nick. It's a paid for top-down pattern, but I especially love the yarn that she used in this design. It really has a good Finding Nemo vibe to it, so I have not made these yet. I was in doubt when I recorded the Dutch vlog, but I don't think I made this one. I did make the Slippery Slope Socks by General Hochbuffer. And this is a very, very nice pattern to knit. It's 2 colors, but you only knit 1 color at a time. And because of the traveling stitches, it gives this intricate pattern. And I did not knit these for myself. I knit them for my friend. It's a paid for pattern, but it's a lovely pattern. Then we have Zilver, which is the Dutch word for silver, and it's a triangular shawl by Lisa Much. I have not knitted this, but it is a free Ravelry download and it looks really nice. And it only uses 1 skein of fingering weight yarn, so if you have 1 skein lying around, you could decide for this one. Then we have the End of Summer shawl, but this pattern is no longer available. So no need to discuss that. The Jinko Crescent. I'm going to handle this one again because my camera shut down after 30 minutes. It does all by itself. This is a pattern by Jade Keeney. It is, I would say, a shawlette. It only takes 1 skein, maybe a little more, and it has this beautiful Jinko leaves detail at the bottom of the shawl. It's a free pattern. Such a pity that I didn't get to do 50 entries in one recording. A Midsummer's Night Shawl by Jessica Anderson is a triangular shaped shawl with garter ridges, stockinette, some mesh lace, and it looks nice. It's just not my shape of shawl. It's a paid for pattern. Then the tiled beanie by Rhiannon, and that is a colorwork beanie, but it's no longer available, so no need to discuss this anymore. And then the last one, the slip stripe spiral, which is a pattern by Milene Pijpers, and she is a Dutch designer living in Australia, and she designed this for Sock Madness 2016, which might have been my first madness. And it has the sweet tomato heel. That was the first time that I did that heel, but it's a really nice heel. I actually made 2 of these patterns because I have one pattern for myself. I still have the pair, and I made one pair as a gift. So, are you still here? Congratulations. We did another 50 entries of my Ravelry library. So that means that we only have a little over 600 to go. I am going to download these from the camera to my computer, and then I will maybe have 15 minutes to start the editing. It's always a lot of work, editing and or recording and editing. It's just the time to edit is more than just to record. So, but I think this was a very fun session again. I like to see all the patterns that I saved in my library, and I hope you enjoyed it and maybe found a pattern that you didn't know you wanted to knit, but now you know. I will see you again tomorrow, and until then I wish you happy knitting. Bye!